What's up, everybody? Welcome to Exjapter channel, where I talk about topics on Japan based on my 15 years of living experience here. And today I want to tackle a topic that I think gets some very different perspectives depending on if you've spent time here or not. And that is Japan weird? Now, if you've spent any kind of time on the internet, you know that there's always articles popping up. Oh, look what strange thing is happening in Japan. Oh, look at this weird festival they have. Or look at this strange invention that someone's come up with in Japan and everyone's using it. Well, are these things really true? Is that really what's going on in Japan on a daily basis? Now, of course, Japan is different. Just like any country is different from any other country. So what are we really talking about here? I think what we need to look at is, are these things that are weird about Japan mainstream in some way? Generally speaking, the answer is no. Sorry, Japan just really isn't that weird on a daily basis. Yes, you have things like maid cafes and the guys that can't seem to get enough of idols and anime and manga, but you kind of have to search those things out. The specialty stores, you have to travel to go find them, whether it be Akihabara or some other place in Tokyo. The same with maid cafes. They're just not dotting the countryside. They are a niche interest that, yes, some people go to. In fact, a lot of tourists go to, because that's what they've heard about Japan. They want to go experience it. The only time I've been to one was for that reason. I had some friends visiting from the States. They wanted to go to a maid cafe, and I thought, oh, I guess I haven't done it, so it was weird. Let's be perfectly honest. It was weird, but it was weird for someone who's been here. I'd been here about 10 years at that point, and it totally weirded me out. So it's not part of your everyday mainstream Japan experience if you're living here. How about festivals like the world famous Penis Festival? Well, yeah, that is a real thing, but again, that's not something you just run into all the time. Japan certainly has its quirks, but most of them can really be chalked up to just cultural differences and things that seemed strange to me when I first got here. You just become used to, like the fact that schedules are set to dates rather than weather. So on October 1st, the buses tend to stop using air conditioning and everyone switches to long sleeve clothes, which I've got rolled up because it's still hot. But yeah, the rules are fairly fixed in Japan, so that's definitely a thing. But is that weird? Not really, it's just cultural difference. You can see we've got Sea Paradise off over in the distance. If you come to Yokohama, that's one thing you can think about doing. Going over, ride the roller coaster and see the aquarium. Are there still some things that I'll see here and think, well, that's strange? Absolutely. A friend just described how recently he was driving on the highway and was passed by a guy on a motorcycle fully decked in samurai armor. And well, it's kind of cool, it's certainly unusual, but is that weird? Is that any stranger than a group of guys who are going to do a reenactment of the War of 1812, dressed in their uniforms, going to their event? It's probably what that guy was doing. He was probably on his way to a festival or something. Or maybe he just thought it was cool to do that sort of thing. Quite the view. I'm climbing a hill on the island here, and be a better view from the top. I'll get it from up there. So I guess my point is, if you want to find weird Japan, you can, but you're going to have to seek it out. If you want to go to the Penis Festival, you're going to have to make the travel plans to go and see it. If you decide you want to take in a maid cafe, you're going to have to seek one out, or more accurately, go to the area of Tokyo like Akihabara, where most of them are. But it should be clear that things like anime and maid cafes and all the other strange things that might pop up tend to be in the large cities like Tokyo. And that makes total sense, because you've got a city of millions and millions of people. It's going to play to the taste of numerous people. This is quite a hill. Out of breath. Sorry if I'm breathing hard. Is that so different from New York or London in terms of if you want to seek out weird things? You should be able to find it in any large city in the world. As I mentioned, some things might be strange when you first get here and then you get used to. One of those things was how you see elderly people on scooters all the time. And we're talking 80, 90-year-olds going down the street full tilt on a tiny little scooter. And I'm totally used to that sight now, but if you think about it and you put it in the context of your own country, especially for me coming from America, well, I'm trying to imagine my parents riding scooters around town, and I just can't do it. The image is laughable, but you just take it for granted here. Is that weird? Just different. Finally, I almost feel like it doesn't need to be said, but in terms of those internet clickbait about the latest invention or the latest weird trend, 99% of the time it's not true. People aren't using this crazy stick that keeps you awake on the train while you're standing up. I've never ever seen it. Generally, I suggest you should be skeptical about things like that. All right, let's continue up this staircase to the very top of the hill and take in the view. And so I can breathe even more heavily into the camera. Almost there. Voila. So everyone, thanks for watching. Whether you like to seek out the strange and weird, or you like to stick to more mundane paths, please hit the like button and subscribe to my content. I put out new videos every Friday, topics about Japan, so please look for those. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.